Hello guys, today the video will be about the loupes. I'm gonna talk to you how I chose my loupes. I'll try to explain why I chose this particular model. I'm gonna show you my loupes and I'm gonna try to explain what you should consider when you picking up your loupes. And there are a lot of things to consider, so my advice is kind of be prepared for the visit of your representative to your school, because the more you know ahead, the easier for you to pick. And also obviously look at all brands and meet with every representative before you make your final decision. So in order to help you, I wanted to categorize a little bit what you need to consider first. So I'd say maybe the most important factor is magnification. And magnification of the loupes, it varies. It can be from as little as 2.0 and it go up to 6, I think. I don't know, maybe it even goes higher. But there are like some factors that you need to consider, because your loupes a little bit change when the magnification changes. So for example, with the magnification 2.5, let's say, you get the largest range of depth. So that means what is the range of depth of your loupes. So that's when you look at in your loupes, you basically can adjust, move further, or you move forward to your patient, and you still see clear. So this kind of small range, it could be like 10 centimeters or more or less. This is where you can still see clear and magnified in your loupes. It basically allows you a little bit to adjust your working distance. So that is very important. And this depth decreases when magnification of the loupes increases. So keep this in mind. The higher the magnification of your loupes, the shorter will be this depth that you can adjust kind of your working distance when you look. So the next one, since we started talking about working distance, the working distance is, in my opinion, it is probably the most important after magnification. It is very important. So working distance, what you need to consider, make sure they measure you correct, because not all representative, or sometimes it's just so many students that they don't pay attention. You need to sit proper when your working distance is measured. So just Google how you're supposed to sit in front of the patient. It's supposed to be a 90-degree, your hand's supposed to be bent 90 degree, your knees supposed to be bent and touching the floor, and it has to be also 90 degree. So practice sitting with your patient, adjust the height of them. Obviously you can practice like in simulation lab, like with the mannequin. Adjust the height of the mannequin how you want it to be, and find your working distance, how you want to sit when the representative is measuring you before even they come to school. So you need to already know, like, I'm gonna sit like that, and then they will measure you. And working distance is very important, because if this range of the depth that you can move back and forth is short, you will not you will have to send your loupes back to adjust them. That's what happened to me. I had to adjust working distance, and it was not fun to wait a month for my loupes to come back. So another thing that you need to consider, that some loupes, I'd say some brands have very clear lenses, I'd say. So I mean, like, they're all good, but some are doing better job and some are doing also great, but not that good as others. So obviously that's why you want to try all brands when you're making your final decision. There are like different kinds of loupes. There are like traditional Galileo loupes, I think they called. There are like prismatic loupes, and there are also ergonomic loupes, which I'm gonna kind of explain about all of them a little bit. So traditional Galilean loupes, what happens with them, when your magnification increases, the field of view, it's also a very important thing, the field of view decreases. So basically, when you have 2.5, you can see probably full arch when you're looking through your loupes. Once you get magnification 3 or 3.5, you start seeing like half of the arch, or maybe just a couple of teeth. And once it goes up, you might only see like 1 or 2 teeth through your loupes. So this is important. And think about for what are you going to use your loupes. Obviously it's better when you can see full arch, especially if you're kind of starting practicing. And I don't know, that was a big factor for me. And therefore they created their prismatic loupes, which as magnification increases, the field of view also decreases, but not that drastically. So basically I can still see full arch, even though my magnification for the loupes that I chose is 3.5. And I'm going to tell you exactly what loupes I chose and why. Okay, there are like two things to consider. Remember, once magnification changes, your depth of view changes and the field of view changes. So you need to consider that when you choose magnification. And if you can kind of adjust the field of view, basically how big is the area of what you see through the loupes by choosing the prismatic loupes. The depth of view, you need to ask your representative how it changes when the magnification increases. And obviously don't hesitate to ask. They should provide all information because you're paying a lot of money for these loupes. So now I wanted to tell you what loupes I chose and why, and what I like about them and what I don't. So I chose, I went with the brand Q Optics. And the reason why I decided to go with this brand, because they have like light loupes. They position themselves like their loupes are very light. They have a titanium frame. So I decided to go with them because I didn't want anything heavy on my head. And I went with the prismatic Q-Optics loupes because I didn't want my field of view to be kind of narrow. I wanted to see full arch. And magnification that I chose is 3.5. I went through with 3.5 because I felt like 2.5 was too small for me. But this is, you know, it's my personal decision. And I felt like I just want to start from 3.5 and I don't know, I wanted to buy loupes once, like not thinking to buy them again soon to increase my magnification. And obviously I didn't want it to be too high as well. So I have 3.5 prismatic loupes, and I had to adjust working distance as I mentioned before because I feel like I was not sitting correctly when they were measuring me. And then I had to measure it myself and ask them to send back the loupes and to get this adjusted. Also, the one thing that I asked about my loupes, I asked them to adjust the angle of declination. I asked them to position it a little bit steeper because therefore I don't need to bend my neck that much. I didn't mention a lot about ergo loupes. They have ergo loupes where here where it's bent and therefore you don't need to basically you don't bend your neck, you don't do like that all the time when you're looking through your loupes. You can sit straight and look straight, but you can see what is in the patient mouth with the ergo loupes. I was kind of a coward. I didn't risk to try. I mean, I tried them on a lot, but I didn't risk to order them because I wasn't sure if I'll be able to kind of get used to them and adjust to them. I had like, I've heard good reviews about them, and I've heard some people couldn't get used to them and they returned them. So I still don't know. Probably it's not maybe a good idea to do it for your first loupes. So I didn't, but maybe you're brave enough and you'll go through that and you'll have a healthy neck. Anyway, for my neck, I asked them to make a steeper angle of declination. The other thing that you need to consider, the frame. I like this sport frame because it kind of goes around your eyes and it's very low probability that some saliva will go, like it's like very less space for any splash to go in your eyes, which is good. And the other thing is light. Let me try it on and I'll show you the light. So with the light, I didn't order Q-Optics light, I went with the Lumadent light. And the reason why I did the Lumadent light is because they have this button over here. This button is amazing because most of the lights, I'm not talking for all of them because I haven't tried all, but most of the lights have the light switch over here. So basically you keep this battery in your pocket and you have to kind of, especially if you're sitting in a gown, you have to go under the gown in your pocket scrubs to push this light on and off when you need it. and I found it very uncomfortable. And there were other reasons why I went with Lumadent, because it has so many good reviews and it has like 3 options. You can do your light like brighter, less, let me take this off maybe, less bright, kind of, you can control how bright you want it. Anyway, but I haven't tried the mini lights, but I can tell the reason why I chose the Lumadent one with the cord is because it has this magic button. I call it magic. It's just very convenient. Whenever I need the light on, I turn it on and I don't need to go to my pocket to push it. And also they also offer so many lights with without the cord. And the reason why I didn't go without the cord, because usually the battery, if it's cordless, they position right here, and it's again adds the weight to the loupes. And as I mentioned, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm paranoid about the weight on my head. I don't want to get tired. And the loupes are super light. The light is very light. It's like 5 grams or so. And I went with that. The only thing that I don't like about my loupes is actually this depth range. Like I can tell, like for 3.5, I even measured it, because for some reason I couldn't find anywhere on Q-Optics website what is for this particular loupes magnification, what is the depth. And when I measured, I found out that's like the range when I can do like back and forth with my working distance, it's very small. It's like probably 5 centimeters, which is like the only thing that I don't like about them, let's say it that way. So everything else, I'm in love with them. I love the color. I don't know, I'm not going to talk about color much because obviously it's personal choice, but I like everything about them besides the depth of view. And this is about it, what I wanted to tell you about the loupes. I hope you will choose the best possible loupes that fit you, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye!